Hello, and welcome to the latest edition of the Diamond Cougar Show, coming to you live from my hometown of Washington, D.C. on this glorious Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you enjoyed the basketball and everything, the conference tournaments, because now it's time for March Madness and everything. So I got to start by thanking my subscribers, all 3,155. Love you. I appreciate you. Without you, the show doesn't go on, or the motivation for the show doesn't go on. But the work ethic is there, so we're going to keep on going because we know the numbers going to grow. Thanks again for watching. And I got to start with the first segment. For real, I don't know about my Lakers, y'all. They're not showing me enough on defense. I mean, we're horrible defending the three-pointer. Excuse me. We're giving up over 90 shot attempts a game. That's just crazy. I mean, other teams are just getting so many bites of the apple, and our scoring is like dead even, 117.2 to 117.8. So we at least defended the three-point line a little bit better, bring that 117 down to around 110. We can win some more games. 36 and 32 right now, number 10 in the West. 3 games behind number 6, but there has to be some level of consistency over these last 14 games. So can we get a 10-4, 9-5, something that could kind of guarantee us, because we'll be playing the teams ahead of us. Sacramento swept us. Dallas, I believe we had one more, but Minnesota, no. Yes, Golden State. We played Atlanta Hawks tonight. That should be a win at home, but who knows? No Trae Young, we should not lose this game. But like I say, who knows? We've been very, very inconsistent, and it hurts me to say that it's a possibility that we might be fighting out the play-in again. Did y'all see that left-handed game winner from Kyrie last night? If you didn't, go check that out. They beat the Nuggets 107-105, and everybody wanted to crush this man because he didn't want to get vaccinated, or he took time off for personal reasons, stuff like that, and missed a lot of games of injuries, and leadership was questioned. But one thing you can't question, Kyrie Irving is nasty. He's one of the most gifted basketball players we've ever seen when it comes to skill. And that's why Jason Kidd put the ball in his hand when he got Luka on the court. And make sure you check out Luka's reaction too, because he was going through the lane like he was looking for the pass, and as Kyrie faked like he was going to hit the three and then hit the joker with the left hand floater from the free throw line. Luka just watched it. And then was like, oh my God, he made it. And then ducked like, thank God he made this jump. So it was either to thank God because he wanted the ball, or it was to thank God because it was just so amazing how he did it. Then Kyrie looking at his hand like, special. And before we get into the March Madness, and I got some jewels for you for this week too. And I'm going to make sure that starting tomorrow, I will actually give you the picks for the games tomorrow, but I will double back with a short or something as a reminder for those who don't catch this episode. So before I get into the March Madness, just a couple of free agent notes, free agency restructures. Dak Prescott restructured his contract to free up $4 million in cap space. Cowboys haven't made any moves with it, but looks like they're trying to get a little bit more money, trying to see what other teams do. Jerry always kind of is how should I say, patient. Some people would just say he's not aggressive enough because he said all in. But Dak restructuring the contract helps give them a little bit more money. And we definitely got we got Eric Kendricks to replace Van Der Esch. And Leighton Van Der Esch officially retired, all the neck injuries and stuff. He his body just can't take it no more. I appreciate you, Leighton Van Der Esch, because for a couple of years, you was up at the top of the league in tackles. You was leading us in tackles, and people couldn't run on you. You was hitting. So I give you credit for that. Decent career. Wish we could have won while you was there, because we had a couple of good years while you was there, but didn't pan out. So congratulations to Van Der Esch on his career. Hopefully life after football is better, and hopefully I got a neck issue too. So hopefully, your neck heals and you don't have to deal with so much extra pain, even though we know it'll probably be that way with all those hits. Mike Williams, wide receiver, that was let go from the Los Angeles Chargers, is visiting the Jets and the Panthers, 2 teams who definitely need another weapon. The Jets is definitely intriguing because you got Garrett Wilson, you got Aaron Rodgers, you got Breece Hall, weapons. Carolina, they did get a couple of offensive linemen to help Bryce Young out. I mean, at this point in his career, especially with his injury history, I would think that Mike Williams would want to go somewhere where it looks, very possible that he can win. You're not winning in Carolina, Mike Evans, just so you know. And the Chargers are still interested, but not for as much money as he wants. Or they wouldn't let him go. A weird thing with Kansas City, man, the Super Bowl champions, Jerry Sneed, stud corner, they put the franchise tag on him, and now he's unhappy about it. And it's rumored that he could be getting traded. That'll hurt. They've been finding some good youngsters, but I think Jerry Sneed is somebody they need to keep. You want to have somebody that can lock down one side of the field, that can check somebody, and you don't have to worry. He's not going to give up a lot of big plays. And that's what Jerry Sneed has been for Kansas City. I think they should pay him. Give him what he wants because you need that. Don't get your ass on your shoulders like a lot of teams do. Just try to find a little amicable agreement and then maybe give him an option that you could restructure again and get him a little bit more. But he's earned it. Jerry Sneed, get your money. Kansas City, tighten up. You want to keep winning, right? You want a 3-peat? Sign the brother. Please sign the brother. And where will T. Higgins land? That's still up in the air, still on the franchise tag. But I think, T, you might have to wait to draft day or maybe post June 1st so that Cincinnati, because they're not just going to trade you unless they got a plan in place to replace you. Not that he's going to be as good, but in their eyes, they think they got all the sense. Even some of them never played. I never played in the NFL, but I played, and I know the game. A lot of people could use T. Higgins, but I'm afraid that he's going to wind up at a spot where he might not have a chance to win now because the teams that are the elite teams, they already have a number one, and he wants to get paid like a number one, and he wants to get targets like a number one. So we'll see how that works out. Safety Jordan Poyer from Buffalo Bills officially signs a 1-year deal with the Miami Dolphins. They lost Christian Wilkins. They did get another, I can't remember the defensive lineman that they got, but he's decent. Oh, forgive me, y'all. I'm having a brain fart. A lot of information, a lot of stuff going through this brain all day, every day. You got to work with me. But Miami look like they're trying to do some things. They've been maneuvering well with the cap. We'll see if they can keep an upright tour and healthy wide receivers and running backs. Miami definitely is dangerous. And for all of my college basketball fans, March Madness is here. You fill out your brackets? Did you fill out your brackets? It starts tomorrow, the first 4. Starts tomorrow. The women's start after the men's. But the brackets are out. Did you fill it out? Who you got winning the national championship? Good question. Hit the comments. Let me know who you got. The number 1 seeds for the men are UConn, North Carolina, Houston, and Purdue. East, West, South, Midwest. Some notable, how should I say, storylines or stories. St. John's, Oklahoma, Providence, Pittsburgh, and Indiana didn't get in the tournament. Now you have to give credit to teams that won their conferences that weren't expected to do so. So a lot of these other teams that are in bigger programs got snubbed because some of those slots got taken. And especially in the bigger conference, when somebody surprises and wins, somebody is going to fall out. The problem is they declined to go to the NIT. Now, there's 2 sides to it. They might feel like the players aren't going to be as motivated for that because they didn't make the tournament. They probably aren't as motivated to coach because they didn't make the tournament, which is understandable because that's the human element. However, on the flip side, you always want to put your product on the floor. For one, it brings notoriety because if you go to the NIT and you win it, guess what happens? Next season, the community is going to take into account that you went to the NIT and you won it, and a couple of the teams that wound up getting spots didn't even get out the first round. So it's a pro and con like it is with basically everything. But I believe that, you put your product on the floor. Now, the dude that's at the end of the bench is only playing like 9-10 minutes. He probably not going to want to play. However, if he got the right mindset, if some of the other players that don't want to play, they're playing in front of him, he'll use that opportunity to showcase his talent. Don't feel good to be snubbed. But I think the team that really needs to be complaining is Indiana State. They're the Sycamores. for those who don't know, and they were made famous by the one Larry Bird. They were 28-6. And then it's this net rating thing they got right. Don't completely understand its place. But what I do know, just from paying attention to the game and studying the game over the years, is that they have this thing called net rating, NET rating. And Sycamores of Indiana State were ranked number 29 in net rating, which makes them the first team since they instituted the net rating in the top 30 not to make the tournament. So all this analytical shit that y'all be doing, it'd be backfiring on you right and left, because there's many things, many examples, especially college football and college basketball, where we could be like, all right, y'all just got this shit wrong. And Indiana State should be in there. And they got the cool player. They call him Larry Nerd. He got the goggles like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Big boy, can shoot the three. He got a little handle, decent passer. Would have been a good look to see him in the tournament. You know what I'm saying? They could have made some noise, and they beat good teams. So I'm sorry for y'all, Indiana State. I wanted to see y'all in there. I wanted to see Larry Nerd go off. I'm calling him by the nickname that they gave him because I don't want to butcher his name. I don't know how to pronounce it properly. I'm going to work on that for you, because hopefully he'll be in the league, or maybe next year, if he's not a senior, he can play again. NC State, one of those teams I was talking about, that'll bust another team bubble and take a spot. No way they were supposed to win the ACC tournament. However, that's why they call it madness. 5 wins in 5 days, while also knocking off Duke, Virginia, North Carolina along the way. Pretty impressive. They had 10,000 to 1 odds to win the ACC. And they start off with Texas Tech. A tough team, but NC State has a decent chance to advance, and I actually did pick them to win that game. I did pick them to win that game, and if you want to get you some money on that game, it's not until Thursday. But I can tell you now that NC State is an underdog. They're getting 4.5 points from Texas Tech, and I'm pretty sure that I'm going to take NC State as an underdog against Texas Tech. Yeah, pretty much. But we'll get to that Thursday, because we have tomorrow, we have Wednesday for the first 4 to find out the whole 68 field, and we're going to go from there. One of the good stories, Long Beach State out of the Big Sky. They knocked off Riverside and Irvine and UC Davis to win the Big Sky. And their head coach for Long Beach State, was notified last week that he was going to be let go, but he could coach in the conference tournament. The player took that as motivation, and now they're in a tournament. Great story. Great story. One of those stories that want to create a narrative as if it could possibly be a Cinderella, because they got some juice for the coach. Because a lot of times people play hard. But there's some bad news for Long Beach State fans. Please don't be upset with me. They got to play Arizona. Great career coach. But what was it, 17 years at Long Beach State? Long time at Long Beach State for sure. And they got to the tournament a couple of times. But don't give you much of a chance to get against Arizona. Apologies to the Long Beach State fans. I know y'all love the story, but Arizona going to blow them out. Let's just call a spade a spade. And then another story revolving around coaches is LeBron James's former coach in high school at St. Vincent St. Mary is now the coach of Duquesne, the Duquesne Dukes, which is located on top of a prison in downtown Pittsburgh. He's retiring. And it's a story because, of course, he coached LeBron. LeBron is like one of the biggest stars on the planet. They got to play BYU, which is interesting. But I think that Duquesne, your run was nice, but BYU can shoot. And y'all don't really have a lot of shooting. Slow pace. You got decent defense, and you actually defend the 3-point line pretty well. I believe you're top 10 in the country. Duquesne is top 10 in the country defending the 3, but they haven't played this offense and BYU had size, rebounded. Like, I just think it's a bad matchup. Duquesne is an 8.5-point underdog for a good reason. But nice run. Congratulations to LeBron's former coach at Duquesne on his career. He's retiring. But I think the Dukes stop here, and they also go down. UConn is the #1 overall seed, and they normally get like pretty fair brackets. But this year, UConn's bracket is pretty tough for overall #1 seed, because on their bracket, which is the East region, they are on a collision course to face any one of these teams. Florida Atlantic, who made the Final Four last year, San Diego State, who made a run a couple years ago and played good last year, Auburn, Illinois, Iowa State. That's tough. That is tough. Even though UConn can beat you in a lot of different ways, and they're probably going to have to make some mistakes and kind of beat themselves in some ways to help the team out that plays them. But that's a tough bracket. Tough bracket. But I'll give you my final 4 picks in a second. Houston's bracket, the #1 seed, they have Duke, NC State, who I just spoke about, Kentucky, Marquette. It's not too bad. You know, UConn's definitely tougher. Purdue, they got kind of a, Kansas is not the same team. Utah State will probably give them some go if they beat TCU and Jamie Dixon. Gonzaga's not the same. Gonzaga, Oregon was one of those surprise teams that won their conference. Creighton, Virginia, Tennessee. So Purdue probably is cooled all the way until like the Elite Eight. They probably basically walk until the Elite Eight and have to see Tennessee, who I project will meet them there. And that was the Midwest. Houston was the South, if I didn't mention it. Houston was the South region. Purdue, the #1 seed in the Midwest region. North Carolina is the #1 seed in the West region. And in their bracket, they have, okay, Michigan State could be in the next round. You know, they always somehow, even if they have a bad record, Tom Izzo somehow always gets the good juice out of his players in the tournament. And I think the last time that they was a real high seed, they lost in the first round. But now that they've been like 7 seed, 10 seed, what are they this year? 9 seed. Like, this is when they be making their run. So don't sleep on Michigan State, man. Even though I think North Carolina is better, but don't sleep on them. North Carolina also has to potentially, well, St. Mary's and Alabama play each other. So Alabama, New Mexico is a sleepy team, but I don't think they'll beat Arizona. But they might. I think they can get to the Sweet 16 and play Arizona. So North Carolina has a couple of tough teams in there, but UConn has like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 dogs that got different styles too. Teams that can score a lot, teams that run, teams that slow it down. And Iowa State has one of the best defenses, if not the best defense, at least over this past month, the best defense in the country. So why not just get to it, huh? My final 4 picks. Out of the East region, I am taking UConn, just because they got so many different ways to win. I'm a little bit about that Auburn matchup because Bruce Pearl gets it out of his guys too. Iowa State, I like them, and I think that they can get to the Elite Eight to face UConn, but experience kind of matters too. And Iowa State has not really been, you know, this highly touted and, you know, in the talks like this. So this is a new situation for them. I hope they don't lose early though, because that'll bust my bracket up. In the South region, I have Houston coming out. I like my Blue Devils, but you know I'm bet with my heart. Duke, we're not the same team this year. I think that we'll get to play Houston in the Sweet 16, and I think that's where we'll go down. They got a better team than us. In the Midwest region, I have Tennessee over Purdue to make it to the Final Four. And in the West region, I have Arizona over Alabama to make the Final Four. Men's Final Four, UConn, Houston, Arizona, Tennessee. Rock with your brother. I got you covered. Trust me, I got you covered. And in the women's side, the #1 seed in the women's side, of course, #1 overall is South Carolina with Dawn Staley. They 32-0, no losses. My final 4 picks, sorry about that. South Carolina, Texas, LSU, Virginia Tech. I know there's no Iowa in there. And the reason there's no Iowa in there is because they're not the #1 overall. They're the #2. But They have UCLA, Kansas State, LSU, potentially Virginia Tech. Tough. And I don't know if it was like set up that way, but it doesn't. It's a possibility that Caden Clark won't be in the Final Four. I don't have them in my Final Four, but that's because the bracket that they have set up, kind of tough. K-State twice this season already went 1-1, lost to them last year. Got to see them. A lot of size. Our weakness is their size. So Caden Clark been a great story, and I'm sure that they make the Final Four. That's what the fans want to see, and the ratings will be up. But don't think she's going to get there this year. Great career. Probably going to get drafted to Indiana Fever next year, #1 overall. But don't have her making it to the Final Four. We got South Carolina, Texas, LSU, Virginia Tech. That's for the ladies. Did you get your bracket in? Did you fill it out? Remember, for the men, UConn, Houston, Arizona, Tennessee. For the ladies, South Carolina, Texas, LSU, Virginia Tech. And for tomorrow are the first 2 games of the first 4. And the matchups are Wagner versus Howard. They're playing at Dayton, Ohio, the first 4. And Colorado State versus Virginia. Now, I'm not a homer. As I just told y'all, I'm a Duke Blue Devil fan. I'm not a Howard Bison fan. Even though I'm from the city, I'm from Uptown. I grew up around the corner from it. Used to play football up there. We used to sneak in there, all that. But I'm going with Howard. And then the other matchup, Virginia winds up being in the first 4, which is basically a play in the NBA. And they playing Colorado State. Oh, Howard is -3.5. Don't worry about that. Virginia is actually an underdog. They're actually getting 2.5 points. Take Virginia. So the jewel for tomorrow, and more than likely I will do a show earlier for those who don't catch this show. Howard Bison over Wagner, and the Virginia College Cavaliers over Colorado State Rams. First 4, first 2 picks. Let's get this money. I will be giving at least two March Madness picks a day. You got a heads up for tomorrow, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I will be with you before tip-off between 10:30, 11:30 to get you some picks so you can get your money. Thank you again for joining me. Thank you to everybody who has hit that like, subscribe button. Keep rocking with your brother. Thank you to all the subscribers. Thank you to everybody. And shout out breast cancer awareness. Everybody going through that. I got a family member going through that. Shout out breast cancer awareness. Hope you all recover, go on remission, and never go back to it. And shout out to all the brothers who bet on themselves out there. It's not a popular choice because people are trained to be a certain way. So kudos to every brother who out there betting on themselves and trusting that they're going to put in the work to build whatever they're trying to build and chase their dreams. Tell your people to tell their people to tell their people to hit that like and subscribe button, boop, and rock with your brother. Thank you for watching. Talk to you soon. Peace.